Yo, what's up? Week 3 of fantasy football officially in the books. I am Chris Caldwell, my co-host Jeremy Ness. What's up, Jeremy?
Hey, what's going on?
Not much, man. Sitting here, trying to tally my records of all my leagues, see how I'm doing. It's going so-so for me. I have a winning record when you add everything together. But how you doing so far this year?
Yeah, I'm probably like in the middle somewhere, right? Some bad teams, some really good teams, some teams that are just okay. My two Keenan Allen teams are happy. The
Yeah.
team that has Keenan Allen and Raheem Mostert is very happy.
Wow. Yeah. Old guys are coming through. I think that's kind of
Yeah,
the theme I'm seeing so far this year. It's like, dynasty fantasy football is kind of taken over a little bit. It's getting more popularity. So I think it kind of skewed some people into, I'm guilty myself, and maybe you are too, of going a little bit younger, kind of forgetting about the old heads that can still ball out, as we saw this week. Keenan Allen, Devontae Adams, Raheem Mostert, all guys, 30 or over that are just going for it. So,
yeah.
any other main takeaways that you're seeing so far this year?
I mean, just from this last week, I feel like we talked about last week. The Giants are bad. I kept thinking they're going to bounce back. Something's going to happen. They're just bad. I don't want like any part of that offense. When we talk about maybe some like waiver wire stuff later. There's like one guy I would take a shot on if you had a deep bench, but it's just ugh. And then also Deshaun Watson, bad. I'm done with him. I trade him, sell him. If you can get anything for him, I think it's time to just move on because your team's probably not doing well if he's your quarterback.
Yeah, man, I don't know what it is with him. I think I'll just say he's broken. I mean, mentally,
Yeah,
physically, maybe both, right? I mean, he just doesn't look good whatsoever. My Ravens travel to Cleveland to play the Browns this weekend. I'm worried about that game, not because of Deshaun Watson, because their defense looks like the freaking
so
steel
good.
steel curtain.
Yeah,
The, the Browns have given up, what is it? I believe it's 20 points. Their defense has given up 17 or 20 points the whole year.
one
So,
touchdown.
yeah,
They've given
wild.
up one
Yeah.
touchdown. Yeah,
Yeah.
yeah, yeah.
So,
I was just
yeah,
reading that. Yeah,
I'm pretty scared of that game. Lamar hasn't really looked great yet. The Ravens offense is kind of stumbling, so I don't know. I think it's going to be a good old-fashioned AFC North slugfest next week.
could be, man. And we can get into how the Ravens did in a little bit. But I was also gonna say, man, the Falcons passing game just done. That's my other takeaway from this week. I don't want. I mean, I thought Drake London had a nice bounce back week 2, but week 3, just the passing. It's just they're just gonna run. You just want Bijan and you want Algier, and that's kind of it. You know.
I know it's sad to say because the Falcons look like a decent little team, right? And then their QB. I don't know if it's their QB situation or just their coach's offensive philosophy. I mean, he was kind of the same way in Tennessee. Arthur Smith, he just said, I'm gonna run it 45 times a game. Good luck.
Yep.
So yeah, fantasy
Maybe it's a
wasteland over there.
quarterback problem. I don't know. Maybe
Yeah,
Ritter's not just not good enough. They don't want to let him throw. I just when you have two amazing offensive weapons in Drake London and Cal Pitts and you don't use them, it's just sad. Sad for everybody.
yeah, agree. It's I have Kyle Pitts on tons of dynasty teams, and I'm very upset. But anyway, we're gonna recap 5 games today, but taking Q&A throughout the entire show immediately as questions come in, and we have one. We'll take this question, and then we'll get started on our game recaps. So, Go Bills podcast. Thanks for the question. Deep 12 to 14 team league. Do you have any recommendations for a running back to add to your team? Chubb and Saquon are hurt. Well, I'll start with the good news. I think Saquon's going to come back this week.
Yeah, that's what they're saying. There's a good chance he does either this week or next week.
Okay, 12 to 14 teams, so that's pretty deep. We'll go ahead and assume that A Chain is already owned. We'll talk a lot this show probably about Devon A Chain, huge, 50 plus point performance this week. If he's on your waiver wire, he's easily, 100% of your fab on him, in my opinion. But yeah, any other recommendations?
I think like Tajee Spears, if he's still there, he might
Mm-hmm.
not be because he's like considered the handcuff to Derrick Henry. But at this point, he's startable like in the flex because he's getting just as much work as Derrick Henry. He's getting pass game work. He's one I have up there. And then if you mean really deep, Melvin Gordon for the Ravens because Justice Hill's out. I mean, he's kind of splitting carries with Gus. Like, if you really need somebody,
Yeah, I was gonna say, yeah, Justice Hill's out and he didn't come back to practice today, I don't believe. But
I
dude,
don't
I
think so.
think Melvin Gordon and Kenyon Drake are both just. I don't think either of them are really startable. So Gus Edwards, I guess, if he's available.
I'd rather have
Um,
Gordon over Drake, I think, between the two.
yeah,
But
fair.
yeah, just super
Yeah,
deep.
Drake had a really bad fumble too that kind of really hurt us in that game. So he's probably on Harbaugh's shit list.
Oh
Um,
yeah.
if you want a player that's like probably 1% owned, that I know about him because he's a Ravens guy, but we have a undrafted rookie this year, Keaton Mitchell, that we put on IR. He wasn't really hurt, but we just wanted to sit him for 4 games just because he was a rookie and we had plenty of running back depth. But then Dobbins went down. So I think we just signed these veterans kind of to hold us over until the 4 games passed where Keaton Mitchell can come play. In the preseason, he was freaking electric, man. I mean, this guy is so freaking fast, and he's just Melvin Gordon and Kenyon Drake just can't not do what this guy can do. I'm not saying it's a slam dunk. I'm saying if it's a 14-team league, last spot on your bench, and I know he's going to be available in your league. I added him in 2 leagues today, so worth a speculative ad.
Yeah, that's good advice. I like it.
Cool. Well, yeah, let's get into the game recaps. The first game that we're going to do is the Colts and the Ravens. Rainy, nasty day
Ugh,
in
ugly
Baltimore.
game.
I was at the tailgate. I was at the game. It was
Sorry,
disgusting.
buddy.
Yeah, it was one of the most frustrating games to watch because the Ravens just refused to throw the ball in the air farther than 5 yards for some reason.
They should have dominated that game. I don't know what happened.
Yeah, the turnovers absolutely killed them. I think they had 3 fumbles lost in this game. Just absolutely pathetic offensive display by the Ravens. But you got to give it to the Colts. Gardner Minshew managed the game. Didn't throw an interception. And Zach Moss, man, I feel like he's been the surprise of the past 2 weeks. No
Yeah,
Jonathan Taylor, who cares, right? I mean, Zach Moss is looking amazing.
he gets every single carry. I mean, that's just. I mean, and he's just blowing up. He's 122 yards. He's catching a couple passes, one for a touchdown. You got to start him every week until he starts sucking,
Yeah, I mean, I
or
think
JT
what
comes back.
Yeah, so we'll see. It's TBD if Jonathan Taylor is coming back in week 5. I mean, obviously, if he does, he's the bell cow running back here. So I actually feel like Zach Moss is. It's hard to say he's a sell with how good he's playing, but you never know. He could be a complete nothing burger week 5 and after
Yep.
if the Colts keep JT. So I'm not saying like find the sucker in your league, but I would kick around a few trade offers getting rid of Zach Moss if you own him because the downside is really low on him if JT stays on the Colts.
Yeah, I agree. Pittman looks good for them too. Um, a kind of sneaky ad this week. Josh Downs
Hmm.
did really well for them.
Out
Saw a
targeted
lot of
Pittman.
targets.
Hmm.
Yeah, and he's a rookie that people liked a lot. Was UNC, I think, right out of.
Yep.
Yeah.
Hmm. Yeah,
Alec
so
Pierce
he's
did not do too much, so it kind of seems like Josh Downs leapfrogged him in the order a little bit.
right. Yeah, Downs is a smaller slot receiver, really good hands, good after the catch. Was really productive at UNC. I think people kind of thought he might go in late first round, definitely second round. I think he fell to the third round of the NFL draft, which surprised a lot of people, probably just because of his size. But
Yeah,
nice little player there. So that was good to see.
and then Lamar doesn't look great, but for fantasy, he does good. I mean, 100 yards rushing, 2 rushing touchdowns, only 200 yards passing. You talked about not letting him throw the ball. He still throws the ball to Zay Flowers, who I think you can consider an alpha now at 8 for 48. Yes, that's not great. He didn't get any long ones. Like you said, they weren't letting him throw it, I guess. But I think Zay's had enough games in a row where he's just like an every week start kind of guy now, and he's the number one there, over even Mark Andrews.
Yeah, I agree. I think Zay Flowers is the only player on the Ravens offense. Lamar Jackson's QB 7 on the year, so I guess that's about where you think he would be, maybe a little bit worse. But Zay Flowers is the only one who's producing. Andrews had missed a game and then hasn't really done much. And then OBJ's hurt. Rashad Bateman is just very cuttable. I mean, I don't even think you
Yeah,
can roster Rashad Bateman anymore.
it's sad. Yeah, I don't think so.
And they don't really have a running back that's screaming to be owned. So
No, Melvin and Gus
Ravens,
split.
yeah,
It's yeah, yeah.
and he got a concussion this game. I think he came back to
That's right.
practice today, but yeah, it's just a giant mess in Baltimore. They like we said last week on the show, they spread the ball so much, no one really eats except Flowers. Even Andrews is like not looking like a slam dunk top three tight end like we thought he would be. So I'm a little bit in a void mode for with the Ravens right now. Hard
I
schedule coming
agree.
up too. At
Yeah.
Cleveland, then at Pitt.
I
So
just
we
got
got
a
a quick.
quick question. Yeah,
Yep.
there's a good one. Stroud or Lawrence this week?
Hmm.
That's a tough one. I like that you're asking that question because I have Stroud as like a pickup this week. He looks good, like really, really good, which no one expected with that team. Honestly, I think you have to stick with Lawrence. It's just a better offense. They had a bad week last week against
Yeah.
Houston, but I think they'll bounce back. What do you
Yeah.
think?
I mean, Jacksonville plays Atlanta, and I think Houston plays Pitt, and I don't want anything to do with T.J. Watt versus a rookie QB. Yeah, I like where your head's at, but T. Law's still superior. I mean, even though Stroud just beat him head to head, actually kicked their
Yep,
ass head to head
yep.
on the road, but T. Law still has superior weapons and an easier matchup, so that's T. Law pretty easily for me.
Yeah, it was one really bad game. You still got to stick with him.
Yeah,
Now he has a really bad one this week again. Then I think you can definitely debate. But for now, you got to stick with T-Law. Yeah.
right. Okay. Well, thanks for the question. Appreciate that. Oh, we have another question here. So Dobbs and Dynasty super flex spot. I think you mean the quarterback Dobbs.
Yeah.
He didn't look half bad, right?
Yeah, I
I mean,
mean, if you're desperate, you want to start a quarterback in the superflex spot. You don't want to start a non-quarterback. So I'm okay with it because I mean
at
it
San
depends who you have
Francisco.
over him. You know,
At San Francisco, though.
San Fran's tough, but he's still probably he's gonna get garbage time points, right? Like he's gonna have to air it out, and I don't
Yeah,
know.
I mean, I'm with you. You almost 100% of the time want to play a QB in the super flex. I will say like this is the worst matchup you could possibly have, right? So it's at San Francisco for a quarterback that's not really a starter. I would say it depends. Oh, he says other
So
QBs Ritter.
Ritter, yeah,
I would play Ritter,
yeah,
personally.
I'd go Ritter over just because it's San Fran.
Yeah, yeah, just at San Fran,
I know
just
Ritter is not like a great play, but yeah, I
like
think
is there any possible way the um Arizona has more than 14 points like at San Fran? I just
yeah,
don't think it's possible.
yeah. I'd go Ritter over Dobbs, especially after seeing what Stroud did to the Jags. Ritter could have a
Exactly.
decent game. Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Start two: Connor, Stevenson, or A Chain. Oof, those are three great options to have.
Yeah, agreed. Let's see here. So Stevenson is at Dallas. Dallas defense has been looking pretty good. Connor's at we just talked about it at San Francisco, not great at all. A Chain at Buffalo, guaranteed to be a high scoring game. I think after seeing the way that McDaniel wants to use A Chain, I know Mostert's probably still the starter there, but A Chain, he was never going to be a starting running back. That's just not who he is,
Yeah,
right?
yeah.
He's like the Reggie Bush mold of just like get him the ball in space. I think A Chain's a definite. Who do you have between Connor and Stevenson?
I think I want to stick with Stevenson. It's tough, right? But I think I like Stevenson better, and I like Connor a lot. I like Connor. He's on my team.
It's just a rough matchup.
Yeah, it's a rough matchup there, but I don't know. I'd go Stevenson and A Chain. I think just because Connor going against the San Fran 49ers, you're hoping for he finds the end zone once or twice. He probably doesn't put up huge yards.
Right.
And I think you're right. You know, Bills Miami. That's going to be a really high scoring game. You want H in there, and Dallas did not look great last week against the Arizona Cardinals, who are supposed to be the worst team.
Right. Yeah.
So
So I think we're agreeing here.
yeah,
Stevenson and A Chain.
yeah.
Even though we both like Connor, it's just the matchup. Let's avoid that one. Let me see. Other QBs available: Zach Wilson, Dobbs, Andy Dalton. Andy Dalton's not going to start. Bryce Young practiced in full today. Jameis Winston. I just feel like he sucks. I'm never starting Jameis Winston. Or just still go with Ritter. Yeah, I'm gonna play Ritter. I think. I just Jacksonville
Yeah,
just got
Ritter.
absolutely destroyed by Houston. So let's just ride that trend there and go Ritter. Zach Wilson's always a no. Andy Dalton's not starting. Dab's
Uh,
matchup is the worst.
can we
And
talk about
Jameis,
Zach Wilson? I'm on your team now. After this last week, they need if they're gonna do anything, they gotta find somebody else. And the last rumor is like Simeon, which is like nothing.
they
They
already
need to
signed him.
trade. Yeah, I know, but he's not gonna do anything. Like he's not gonna help them. They need to trade, or they need to find somebody better. Because Wilson is. They keep saying he's the guy. There's no way he's the guy. After this last week, just
Would you see there's like
oh
about to be a mutiny in the locker room?
yeah, yeah.
Yeah. I'm
People aren't
telling you,
behind
this
him anymore. Yeah.
this is gonna last like I think they will have a new starting quarterback by like week 5 or
Mid
6.
next game,
I
middle
like
of next game.
a quarterback that's not on their team. Yeah, I don't know,
I
man.
mean, they're
I
gonna get
don't.
destroyed by the Chiefs, and they're gonna pull Zach Wilson and throw in Simeon and just see what he could do.
It's not gonna fly in New York to sign Trevor Simeon and go see what happens. I mean,
Yeah.
their roster's too good. I mean, Brees Hall's mad. The defense is mad. Yeah, Robert Sala, if he wants a job, he'll figure out a way to make a move.
Yeah,
Anyway,
I think.
on to the next game. Pretty exciting game
Yeah,
with two teams that were 0-2, the Chargers and the Vikings. Two prolific offenses here. Chargers came out on top. The cool thing to me about this game is after week 3, it was QB1 versus QB2 on the season. So Kirk Cousins QB1 on the season, Herbert QB2. What you got on this game?
I mean, like you said, exciting game. Herbert goes off. I mean, 400 yards, 3 touchdowns. Just that's what we thought he was going to do this year. I guess people who really liked him, they're like, this is what he's going to be doing every game, and you can see it happening. Really sad to see Williams out for the season. That sucks. I think torn ACL, right? I think they said,
Hmm.
which just
Yeah,
that sucks. But it means Joshua Palmer is going to step up into the number 2 spot, and then Quentin Johnston gets the number 3 spot, where people think he's the more talented guy, could possibly jump into the number 2 spot. Might take a few weeks. Their head coach even said that the plan is for Quentin Johnston to get more work
right.
because of this. He just has to step up. He's going to get more of the passing share. But other than that, like
Let's.
Colts,
Yeah.
their offense looked great. I think they do need Eckler back in the running game. Like
Oh yeah. Josh
Joshua Kelly,
Kelly. Is he
he's
cuttable?
done.
I mean, it's pretty close,
I
right?
have him in a team. I thought about cutting him, but you have to hold him until Eckler's back because I don't know.
Isn't it
He's the only
crazy? Like
option.
his best game of the year was week 1 when Eckler's there, and
Yeah,
then Eckler gets hurt, and you're like licking your chops. Here we go, high-powered offense. Bell cow running back doesn't do shit for 2 weeks.
nothing.
Yeah, screw that guy. Anyway, I think the main conversation we need to have, and I don't know if we could have it now. We'll wait. We won't wait for the waiver wire. Are you going Josh Palmer or Quentin Johnston, or does it depend?
Like you're like hoping you don't need either, right, on your team. But if you need someone right now, Josh
Palmer.
Palmer is the way to
Yeah.
go. And I'm
But
not spending a ton
if
on
you're
either of
three
these
and
guys.
0, right?
Yeah, if you're
If you
doing really great, pick up Quentin Johnson. I think
yeah,
that's
I
what you need
I'm
to do.
I think you nailed it right away. If you're 0-3 or 1-2, I think Palmer is going to be better over the next 2 to 4 weeks. But
Yeah.
Quentin Johnston has the second half of the season ability to just go nuclear. I mean, he's a freak athlete, Megatron esque if he can put it together.
This one is easy. I like this question. So thanks, Noah. Keep firing some questions at us. For the flex, James Cook, Gabe Davis, and Rashad White. It's James Cook by a lot. It's not close.
Dude is a
Not close at all. They're
beast.
giving him all the work. He's going against a high-powered Miami offense where he's going to be getting a bunch of. Even if they're like if they go down, the passing game, he'll still get passes and stuff. Like he's the guy there.
So you want to play
just every day.
all the Bills and all the Dolphins this week? I know Gabe Davis on the Bills, but I believe he had one catch last week.
Yeah, he had one catch for a touchdown, so he made up for it. If you started him, you got 10 points because he caught one touchdown for about 35 yards. And Rashad White, I was high on him this year. He's not looking great. Maybe he can turn things around. I don't know. But James Cook, top 10 running back this week, I think.
Yeah, he's pretty much a must start. Let's see what he is on the year. James Cook. He's running back 14 on the year in half PPR. Pretty solid. I think his role's only going to increase. He's even got vultured on touchdowns 2 or 3 times, and
So
he's still running back 14.
that's the issue with him a little bit is it's going to be hard for him to be like the top 5 or even like a top 10 consistent running back just because he's getting vultured. Damian Harris and Latavius Murray both getting more goal line work than he does. It's unfortunate, but when he's getting so much of the workload, it doesn't really matter. He's still going to be great. He's going to be a high upside RB2 with like potential to be RB1 every week.
Yep. So yeah, our answer on that one's James Cook.
Yeah.
Yeah, he's the man. Okay, but we'll talk about the Bills game as a whole next. But let's finish out the Chargers and the Vikings game.
Captain Kirk
Yeah.
stays hot.
Yeah, man, and he's hooking up many different targets, right?
Yeah.
I mean, Justin Jefferson got his first
nuts.
touchdown on the year. He
Yep.
almost this close to having 3 straight games with 150 reception yards.
Yeah.
He finished with 149, but that would have been pretty cool to see. But Jordan Addison, has firmly taken over KJ Osborne as the number 2 receiver.
So
Good to
they
see.
say that like Osborne still gets out there in those like 2 wide receiver sets, and he hasn't quite leapfrogged him in the order, but like it's coming, right? Like his, you see the receptions, the targets and stuff. It's definitely coming.
Yeah,
But
8
it's
targets to
like-
3. That's
Yeah.
promising.
Yeah, yeah. But they're
But
saying
I-
like when you watch him run the sets and stuff, he isn't quite. Like, he's not getting enough snap count. I guess is like what they're saying. But they're saying in the next couple of weeks we'll see it. We'll see it happen.
Yeah.
He's just.
I
he's too
think
good.
Addison is like, I don't even know if it's a buy low because he's been good.
Buy
But
high,
I think he's a buy high, right? I mean, I think there's nowhere to go for him but up. And he's been solid and he's only going to be better. Yeah, so Kirk is QB1, Hawkinson is tight end 1, J. Jeff is wide receiver 4, and Addison is still crushing. And there's like, it can only be better for him. So I love him as a buy high. Cool. Well, I think we talked about it all. Is there anything else you wanted to talk about that game?
No, just KJ Osborne. He catches one that happens to be a touchdown, so he does okay for you. He's a guy to stash. If something ever happens to JJ or Addison, he's immediate, huge value. That's all.
So what's your take? So Cam Akers didn't dress this game, and he was traded to the Vikings last week for next to nothing. So Madison had a
He's the
pretty good
workhorse
game.
this game. I did have that in there. 93 yards, 5 receptions for 32. He was their workhorse. He got like workhorse. Sorry, he got all like the carries pretty much. You just gotta wait and see. With like, if you have Cam Akers, you can't drop him because you just want to wait and see what happens. If you have Madison, I think you try to sell for whatever you can get for him. He's not worth much. I don't know.
Yeah, it's I own no Madison, so I don't have any decisions to make. I don't have him on any of my 8 teams, but I would be selling him because I think it's kind of a crapshoot, right? I mean, Akers, we know he probably has more talent than Madison. We'll see where he falls in the pecking order. I just think he's risky. He had a pretty good game. I think Madison's a decent sell, depending on what you can get for him. Thoughts on Cooper Kupp when he returns?
My thoughts on Cup is win, but also my big thoughts on Cup is if you're 3-0 right now, throw a trade to the Cup owner and see if you can get him to stash on your bench. If you've got like an extra guy you don't need or something, see if you can get Cup a little cheap because he can just crush it for you whenever he comes back. and if vice versa, if you're losing, if you're 0-3 or 1-2, and Cup is like taking up space on your bench, you got to move him for somebody that can help you win now and try to get something for
Yeah,
him.
yeah, we're not
As far as
positive
like,
he's coming back week 5,
yeah,
right? I
that
mean,
the problem is like, who knows? Yeah, we don't know when he's coming back. How healthy is he going to be when he starts? He's probably not going to be 100% when he comes back right away if they're keeping him out this long. And then also he's not going to get the giant target share he had before. It's just Puka's too good. Tutu's been doing too well. It's hard to think he's going to come right back into that exact role. He's still going to have the lion's share of it, but so that's my
yeah, I
thoughts on
think
Cup.
I agree with you on if you're 3-0, I think you have to send trade offers for Cooper Cup because he could be like your diamond in the rough. You obviously, if you're 3-0, you're stacked and you probably have an extra player to give up. So I love that strategy right there.
Yeah.
But yeah, I do think he's going to be, when they do decide to suit him up, I think he's going to be the number one guy and overtake Puka. Just
Yeah.
because it's Cooper freaking Cup, man. Let's not forget how good he
Yeah.
is.
He makes it
But
happen.
but there is, with Puka there, Kyron Williams is an every down player. Tutu Atwell looks nice. I agree. He's not going to be the 15 targets every game guy that he was.
Speaking of Kyron,
Speaking of
Terry
Kyron Williams,
McLaurin and Kyron for Waddle. That's tough. Only because with Waddle dealing with a little bit of an injury, and we both really like Kyron the rest of the
hmm
year. It's hard to trade him away. I understand like wanting to sell high on him. I completely get that, and I think that's what you're kind of trying to do a little bit here. But I think I like Kyron too much the rest of the way. He's a guaranteed start every week now. And Terry's had a bad week, but he is the only part of that offense that is worth having right now.
can I will say I like what you're trying to do here, and Jeremy, you just said that. I don't like the target. I don't like Waddle just
Yeah.
because he's hurt right now. Jalen Waddle was actually really injury prone in college. He hasn't really the injury bug hasn't bit him too hard in the NFL yet, but he got hurt quite a bit. I would say just adjust your trade target a little bit. Instead of Waddle, maybe like
So
CD.
actually, Devonte Adams is who because I just made this trade in one of our leagues actually. So I
You
traded
did.
for Devonte Adams, and I had too many running backs. I have like backups that I picked up and stuff. So I want to get rid of somebody. So I did before week 3. I traded Joe Mixon, Mike Williams, and Rashad Bateman for Devonte Adams and Quentin Johnston. Now the injury worked out really really well for
Oh
me.
my God,
So
yeah. You got rid of
yeah,
Mike
that turned
Williams.
out right before he got injured, and I picked up his replacement at the same time with Devonte Adams. But I think that's a great. The only problem is Devonte Adams just went crazy this week, so it might be a little harder to get him. I got him like the week before he went crazy because I had a feeling
Yeah.
he was gonna go crazy.
So
But I
how
think
about
someone in
like,
that range, like
yeah,
Devonte Adams,
how about CD Lamb, Amon Ra?
yeah, CeeDee Lamb has been great. Actually, Devonte Smith just had a really bad week. It seems like him and AJ Brown are kind of just going back and forth right now with points. Devonte Smith is a great target. DK
DK
Metcalf,
Metcalf?
yeah,
Yeah. So yeah, that's the range I think you shoot
yeah.
for. I just think Waddle's a little risky to give up
He's
that much.
yeah. It's just tough with him. It's because Tyreek is just taking over there too, and I think Wild's going to be great this year. I still love him, but with the injury stuff going on.
Yeah. Anyway, Kyle, yeah, thanks for the question, man. Really appreciate it. We do this once a week for about an hour, hour and a half. Please like the channel, subscribe, and hope you can stop back and ask a question again next week or give us some more this week. Okay, Noah has another question. Yeah, Noah, thanks for the questions. We really appreciate it. New Orleans or Ravens defense? Let's
I've got that
see.
really, really close. I think I like New Orleans a little better going against Tampa Bay, and
And they're
Baker
at
likes
home.
to throw picks. There, yeah, New Orleans at home. Um, yeah, I would go New Orleans there, but you're the Ravens fan. Tell us, would you go Ravens?
I mean, I think it's like I think they're both like top 5 or 6 options.
Yeah,
I would probably just say New Orleans because they're at home. Maybe I don't know what the weather's supposed to be like in Cleveland, but if it's supposed to be like nasty weather, that game could be like a 13-10 game with just really a lot of fumbles and interceptions. But I would lean New Orleans a little bit. Okay, traded Montgomery, A-Chain, and Waddle for Jefferson and Pierce.
His Diggs and Bijan. Did you win the trade? Maybe is that what he's asking?
W trade, my Benjamin. So okay, so he traded David Montgomery, who's hurt right now, A-Chain, and Waddle for Jefferson and Pierce. Yeah, I like the Jefferson and Pierce side by a lot.
Yeah.
Yeah, I mean,
Pierce, I'm not high on right now, but I think Jefferson is just amazing. So and Montgomery's hurt. Waddle's
You
a little hurt.
probably consider that a win, like Montgomery, A-Chain, and Waddle for Jefferson. If it's like a 10 or if it's like a 10 per team league,
Yeah.
I'd probably just do that. And Damian Pierce, we'll talk about the Texans game in a little bit. I think he's a nice buy low. I mean, they have four of their five offensive linemen out right now, and they've been leaning on their passing game, which has been working pretty well. But
Which they
Damian
started
Pierce,
using Devin Singletary in the
yeah,
passing game. This
Bills
last
fans
game.
that are watching know that that's not going to last.
Ah,
Damian Pierce is superior to Singletary. I don't know. I don't think Pierce is like a huge piece or anything, but I think this is a nice sell high on A-Chain, because
yeah,
Justin Jefferson's just the GOAT, man. I mean,
he is
he is.
amazing.
He's a locked in, wide receiver one on the week waiting to happen.
Yep.
Buy low on Jonathan Taylor coming back.
I'm
Yeah.
gonna say same strategy we're talking about with Cooper Cup. I think it's the same thing. If you're
Mhm.
going 3-0 right now, send an offer out to the guy with JT because odds are his team is not doing so well because he spent a high pick on just Taylor and it's not working out for him.
Mhm.
And then if you're like not doing well, you're 1-2, 0-3, and you've got Taylor, then sell him for something. You got to get going. Who knows if he's coming back week 5 or not?
Yeah. Hate to say it, if you're 0-3, you don't have any more losses to give, really. You got to win this week.
Yeah,
So, yeah, I think Taylor's a nice buy low. I think the injury was totally overblown. I think the
oh yeah,
injury was up
not
here,
real.
right?
Yeah,
And the limp was just all for show.
yeah.
Yeah. So anyway, thanks for the questions. Appreciate those. We're gonna get on to our next game,
Do
which
we have to?
is
I don't. We can pass this game, right? We can just
yeah.
skip it.
So
I think.
I think the Bills fans want to hear about it a little bit, but yes, we'll have to
Man,
rub your face in the dirt a little bit. So Jeremy's a Commanders fan, unfortunately, but yeah. So the Commanders lose their first game of the year in emphatic fashion, get absolutely wiped by the Bills, 37-3. Sam Howell,
looks
I
like a
mean,
rookie. 4
dude,
picks, just doing
four
everything you
picks.
can do wrong. I don't know how many times the commentator said learning experience and like he'll learn from this and just like you can only say that so many times. Like, oh, it was bad.
So 4 picks and 9 sacks. I mean, that's just unreal. Just absolutely battered and bruised. Um,
They just got
yeah,
to forget this game ever happened and then
yep.
go back to the last 2 games. And
Just
that's
crumble up the tape and just throw it away if you're a Commanders fan. I don't think there's much to learn from this. You're just outclassed. So yeah,
Terry
jo-
McLaurin's the only guy I trust on that offense now. Antonio Gibson got some passing work. He got a few carries in there. Looks like they're kind of going back to using him again. Who
but he
knows?
fumbled again, right? Isn't that his
Like
problem that he fumbles a lot?
I don't know. They all have problems right now. But that's all I got for that side. B Rob, I guess, is still startable. He's getting most of the carries and stuff, but he's not really getting passing work anymore. So he's like RB3 ish. I would put him at. Um, and then we talked a little bit about James Cook being awesome. James Cook is still awesome. They just use the crap out of him. 98 yards. He still gets 2 passes, but he gets vultured in the end zone, which sucks.
Yeah,
Um,
but if you're gonna give me 17 touches of James Cook every game, I'm gonna take that
yeah,
happily. I mean, I feel like he's kind of in like the A chain mold, right? I mean, he's a 50-yard touchdown waiting to happen, and
yep,
I would start him every week if you say, Chris, he's gonna have 12 touches. I'll be like, what? Shit, sounds great.
yep.
Yep.
Make it happen.
If you tell me he's gonna touch the ball 12 more times, I'm in. Um, Diggs just quietly having a solid year.
Dude is that's the only thing I enjoyed about that game is he's a Maryland boy, so I always root for him, even when he's tearing up my team.
Yeah.
He's so good. He's so good. Just
And
like such a good route runner. Everything.
we
So
were
good.
talking at the beginning about how, it's kind of been the season of the old man so far, especially in wide receiver department. Let me tell you what wide receivers are in the top 10 of wide receivers so far this year. Ready for this?
Yeah.
Tyreek Hill, 29 years old. Keenan Allen, believe he's over 30. Devontae Adams, 30 or 31. Mike Evans, over 30.
Is Thielen in
Uh,
there?
Adam Thielen,
He's
he's a
close.
no, he's
Uh,
he's wide receiver 8.
yeah.
Um,
Okay. Yeah. Yeah.
Stephon Diggs and Debo Samuel's 27 or 28. But anyway, old guys are here to stay, man. It's an old man's game,
It,
and
Thielen is every week starter now. After that, like he kind of is. It's crazy to me. I never would have thought.
do you think it was an Andy Dalton thing or what?
I, who knows? I don't. Maybe they just maybe Thielen went to him and said, "Hey, just throw to the ball to me more. Like I can still play." I don't know, but I think
Yeah,
you can start him now.
what
I
was
don't
his
have him,
stat?
but
Let me see his stat line. I'm just curious. 11 for 145 and a
yeah,
tutty. DJ
yeah,
Chark had a nice game too. Wow. Okay.
yeah,
Okay.
yeah. That's what I'm saying. But
Panthers are
back to the
still
Bill
0
side of
3. Yeah.
things,
Yeah.
Josh Allen's back again. 218 for a touchdown. Plus, he runs a touchdown in and gets almost 50 yards on the ground. That's what you want from Josh Allen. And then your boy Gabe Davis just has that one catch for a touchdown. So
Yeah.
he's like a boomer bust every week. This was like a okay. He gets you 10 points. You're not mad about it, but it's a lucky 10 points because he caught a touchdown.
The leagues that I have Gabe Davis in, I try not to flip flop whether he's in the lineup or not. I try to just make my mind up. Am I just going to start him every week or just never
Yeah,
start him? Because I'm going to drive myself crazy if I try to guess when he's
yeah,
going to go off. The frustrating thing to me about this Bills game was the tight end situation. Dawson Knox had no catches, and Dalton Kincaid had 2 catches for 3 yards. Um, Kincaid, I'm not
yeah.
going to say he's been a bust because you can't really expect a rookie tight end to come out
Well, it
that
could have been the
hot.
game too.
Yeah,
They were destroying the Commanders, and that could have just been the way it was schemed. I think it's fine. Like
you're
they
right.
just
No
didn't
one,
really
no
need
one
to
had
throw to
more than
him.
2 catches except for
Yeah,
Diggs. So
except for
good point.
Diggs.
Good
And
point.
Diggs was just getting open all day. Yeah,
Good point.
that's all I had for that game because it was a horrible game.
Yeah,
You're welcome for the free win, Bills fans.
good stuff. All right. Well, let's go to Houston and Jacksonville, a AFC South showdown.
Upset
But
special.
yeah, upset special. Texans go into Jacksonville and win by 20 points. Dare I say, CJ Stroud looks freaking legit. I mean,
Oh yeah,
he only has 4 touchdown passes on the year, but he has over 900 passing yards in 3 games with 4 of his 5 starting offensive linemen out. I mean,
yeah,
this is some pretty incredible stuff. And it's not like his talent, his skill position, people are renowned, right? I mean, he has a bunch of young guys trying to find their way. You have Tank Dell, Nico Collins, John Mechie, Damian Pierce. Everyone's just
yeah.
trying to figure it
Jordan
out.
Brevin. It's
Yeah.
yeah, it's crazy, and we see a down game from Nico, but that's because Tank Dell just goes off. Uh, and I think that's I think Nico will bounce back. I think he's a good talent. Not worried about that. We talked a little bit about Damian Pierce. He's like splitting with Singletary this game. Just saying, I'm, I would get rid of Damian Pierce.
Wow.
Not
Okay.
about him. Yeah. But then on the
Um,
Jag side of things, T Law does not great, but okay. 280, a touchdown and a pick. He has a little bit of rushing. Um, ETN does really well.
yeah,
88
I think
yards, 4 for 50.
he's doesn't get in the end zone, but he's being used in the passing game, which
Yeah.
we're all about. I mean, I think
Yep.
ETN's
He's
a
also the
top
workhorse.
top 10
What's
running back rest of year
yeah.
for my
Yeah.
money.
Bigsby's
The
barely getting anything, so it's
Yeah,
all ETN
he
show.
got he vultured a touchdown, unfortunately, but
Yeah.
that won't happen all the time. I think the takeaway from this game for the Jags side for me was this is back-to-back games that Christian Kirk outproduced Calvin Ridley. do you think week one was like a bit of a mirage with Ridley having such a good game? Because
Um,
Kirk has cemented his number one status since then.
yeah, I don't know. I think he'll bounce back. I'm not worried about Ridley. I think he's really talented. I think he'll bounce back. I think maybe he's just getting covered a little more, and just I mean, Kirk is the one getting open right now. Um, I feel like we'll see a bounce back game for him.
Okay.
Like you're still starting him. You kind of have to.
Yeah, yeah.
He's
It's
too
I'm,
good
I'm not
not to
in I'm not
start.
in panic
Yeah,
mode. I'm just
yeah,
making mental note that Christian Kirk dominated in targets and receptions last week. This week he had more catches and he had the touchdown. So
yeah.
just starting to make mental note. Christian Kirk still might be the wide receiver one there. I mean, we'll see. Gonna probably have to see it for
Yeah,
another week or two.
you're starting both those guys, and then I didn't.
Yeah,
Do you know if what happened with Zay Jones?
I think he was out hurt this week.
Okay, yeah, I was gonna say because I don't think he was involved at
I
all. I
don't
was just
see
wondering.
him having a target.
No, he doesn't.
So unless he just played the whole game with no targets.
Yeah,
Well, yeah, Jamal Agnew had 5 targets and 4 catches, so I'm assuming Zay Jones just didn't play. Okay. Well,
and then Evan Ingram still looking decent, 7 for
yeah, he's
67.
tight end 4 or 5 on the year. I mean, he,
Yeah,
he was a great pick. They paid him a lot of money. They're going to use him. Um, Last question about this game.
yeah.
Um, would you rather? Well, we can. We'll talk about it now. Would you rather have Tank Dell or would you rather have one of the Chargers wide receivers off the waiver wire?
Tank Dell.
Yeah.
Um, I feel like even if you're already winning, like if you have a 3-0 record, I think I still want Tank Dell. I think that stat line is just great. We can see that he can do it. Quentin Johnston hasn't done that yet. Um, but I think for me, it's like Tank Dell, then Quentin Johnston, then Josh Palmer.
If you're a good team. Okay.
Yeah, yeah. Even if, I mean, I don't know. Even if you're middle range team. Here's a quick
Okay.
question. I'll read it. Mike Charniski, thanks for the question. Hopefully I pronounced that right. If I didn't, I'm sorry. I'm in a 3 flex league trying to decide who to start. So we're looking for 3 options here out of these guys. Derrick Henry, Zach Moss, Jerry Judy, B-Rob, Romeo Dobbs, or James Conner.
Well, Moss is
I think
definite,
I
right?
would go with the running backs here and go Henry, Moss, and James Conner. What do you think?
So I think Moss is definite. Derrick Henry's a definite. Um,
I know James Conner has the Niners defense, but you're going to assume he gets in the end zone at least once, if not twice.
who do the Commanders play? At Philly, so
Yeah.
pretty hard matchup there. Romeo Dobbs has been playing pretty good. Let me see who they have. Yeah, they're Detroit. That could be a little bit of a shootout game. Yeah, I think Derrick Henry and Zach Moss are for sure. Yeah, I can't play a Broncos player right now. They just look freaking awful.
I mean, they
Um,
do get Chicago.
so,
So, and Chicago's just as bad. So with a
so he
horrible
said
defense.
he's set on Connor and Henry, and he's between. So I'll just say Zach Moss is my
Zach
number one of
Moss.
the whole group.
I mean,
Um,
Derrick Henry's number 1, but Zach
I
Moss
don't know,
number 2.
man. Yeah. So okay, then I think we're so Jeremy said Moss, Connor, and Henry. I said
Yeah.
Moss for sure and Henry for sure, and I was between Connor and Dobbs.
Yeah.
So yeah.
Henry and Moss are the top 2 by a good chunk out of those guys, I think. And
Hmm.
then I've got James Conner next, and I would have Judy close to Connor. Judy and Robinson both would be pretty close to Connor for me. I'd be between those, but I think James Conner's where to go.
Connor has the safest floor, I think.
Yeah, yeah, but yeah,
Yeah. Thanks, Michael, for the question. Please like and subscribe to the channel. We do this every week. Hope we talk to you again. Okay. So start T Law or Purdy this week. Okay, so Purdy's gonna have a at-home matchup against Arizona, which is juicy.
mm.
Um,
T Law
T
gets
Law,
Atlanta.
Atlanta.
I'm
So
still
I
sticking
don't.
with T Law. I like the rushing. I know he didn't do a lot of it last week, but he can. So
Yep.
I've got him a
I'm
little
gonna,
bit ahead of Purdy.
I'm gonna go T-Law too. I mean, just because I think that game could be more competitive. I don't really like to play QBs when they're a huge favorite. I don't know what the line is on the Arizona at San Fran game, but it's probably like 14 points or something like that. I don't want the QB there. I just don't think they're going to have to throw the ball. So,
Yeah.
yeah, that's where I'm at with that. Thanks for the question, though. What happens to Puka and Tutu when Cups comes back? I
So
think
I think I think Puka's like the safer of the two. I feel like he's got a little bit of a different role. But I think Tutu's still involved too. They have a lot of talent in that team now on that offense. I think what you're saying is probably right. Puka goes from a wide receiver one to wide receiver two, but I think he's like a high wide receiver two still, and then Tutu wide receiver three range. Yeah. What
yeah,
do
I
you
was
think?
I, wa-
Three
I
to
was gonna
four.
say I think he kind of nailed it. I think Puka goes to a wide receiver two slash high end flex play, and Tutu is like you still want to roster him, but not start him. So
Yeah,
yeah,
like
I
bye
think
week
you.
starts and stuff.
Yeah, exactly. I think you nailed it. So thanks for the question, Cam. Yeah, I think you're seeing it correctly there.
Yeah, and Michael, the Bears matchup is juicy. I just still, I can't trust a Bron. You know, like I can't trust Judy there. I'd rather go well, you're talking about your set with Connor and Henry,
Hmm.
so definitely go Zach Moss. We both agree Zach Moss. Way to go.
Yeah, man.
Plus, this could be the last week you can use Zach Moss, so definitely use Zach Moss.
Yeah, dude. Yeah.
Don't think about it too
Look,
much. Just do
look
it.
at his stat line the last 2 weeks. I mean, 2 weeks
Yeah,
ago he played 100% of the snaps and got
yeah,
100% of the running back touches, and then this past week he just demolished the Ravens on the ground.
yeah. Play
Zach
Zach Moss
Moss,
and thank us later.
yeah,
Now
it's
he's
a
gonna
must
have
start.
like the worst week of all time. Now that we've said that, no, he's gonna do great. Don't worry about it.
Yeah, he plays the Rams too. It's not like they have Aaron Donald or anything.
Quick question from Cam here. Thanks for all the advice. You're welcome. How do you guys like Quentin Johnston going forward? So we were saying earlier, we like him a lot. It's going to take a good 2 to 3 weeks probably for him to get to where you want him to be, maybe even longer. So we think he's a good like deep bench stash, especially if you're 3-0 and doing great and you have the space for him, grab him or trade for him. And then if he's not a target, maybe if you're like 1-2 or 0-3, you need somebody more immediate impact because
Like
it could
Josh
take
Palmer.
him.
Yeah.
I mean, maybe he blows up next week. Who knows? But with rookies, we've seen statistically going back a couple years, they usually take sometimes half a season to get going, and then the second half of the season is where they just blow up. Like Garrett Wilson last year,
Hmm.
we could see a similar situation with Quentin Johnston, especially with the injury, where the second half of the year he just goes insane.
Yeah. Fully agree. Yep. Absolutely love Quentin Johnson trade or add for a 3-0 team. I think that's
Yeah,
perfect. But let's not overthink this though. Like Josh Palmer through 3 weeks, and they loved him last year too. I mean, he was a solid wide receiver flex play last year,
yeah,
and this
oh yeah.
year they're getting him on the field nonstop. He caught a touchdown last week too. So I think they love Josh Palmer. He's a decent little player. I mean, I wouldn't overthink it too much.
Yeah.
If you need wins now, if you're 0-3 or 1-2, Palmer all day over Quentin Johnston. Okay. Let's see. So
Broncos
Texans,
Dolphins
yeah,
game,
yep. Oh boy.
the one with
The
all the
game.
points.
This is the game of the week. Absolutely unreal. I mean, um, Dolphins put up 70, and then they went for a field goal at the end to try to set the all-time scoring record. I guess that
No, they
was like,
decided not to. They decided not
oh,
to.
they decided not to. Okay. Oh,
Yes,
gotcha.
that was the big
Yeah.
deal. They could have gone for it, and Mike McDaniel said it felt like running up the score, so he didn't. I was like, hey, just get the record, man. Just do it. Come on, it's fine.
Oh, because the
You've
two
already run up the
touchdowns
score
they
at that
scored
point.
before
Yeah,
that wasn't
yeah.
running up the score.
You've already run up the score. It's fine.
Yeah.
But yeah, I'll start with the Broncos. They're horrible. It's like hard to trust anyone there. I guess Sutton's been good, and you trust him, but it's hard to start any of them. I guess I'm starting Sutton if I need somebody. I don't know. Russ does 300 yards and a touchdown, but it's all like garbage time, and Judy does okay. Marvin Mims looks legit.
Hmm.
They just don't use him. They won't use him. He gets in there. He gets 3 targets. He gets 3 catches. He goes off for 73 yards.
And a
They
punt
just don't
return for
seem
a
to really.
touchdown
Yeah, and punt return for a touchdown. Totally forgot about that.
or kick return,
They,
whatever it was.
yeah, something like that. But they just don't want to use him. He's not getting the snap share. He's not getting targets yet. He's a deep stash. He's a stash guy. Not even deep stash guy. Just a stash guy. Because you can't really start him yet. I don't think. But hopefully you can in the future. I don't know. That team is hard.
I think Cortland Sutton's weeks on the Broncos are numbered. I
Yeah.
think he's a perfect person to trade for the Broncos. They're 0-3. They look like shit. They're not going anywhere this year. I don't know what their cap situation is with Russell Wilson, but I would say like Russell Wilson to the Jets and Cortland Sutton send him with him. I don't know. I just don't think they have. They need to start over. They need to blow this thing up. And we would love that because then Marvin Mims would just go nuclear.
Yep.
Because every
Exactly.
time the guy touches the ball, it's a freaking house call.
Yeah.
He's unreal. Yeah.
You'd think just give him more targets. See
Yeah.
what
So
happens.
that's got to be coming soon.
Yeah.
You cannot keep Marvin Mims off the field any longer.
Yeah.
He's been incredible.
Uh,
Javante Williams, a little bit of yuck there. I mean, he's doing okay. He's just like having very meh games, but maybe we're being too hard on
It's the
him.
team is just bad. Yeah, I think
Yeah.
they're getting blown out here. He gets some passes, a couple passes, and they just like can't really use him. Right? They just have to throw a lot.
Hmm.
Yeah. Got a quick question here from Gavin asking about
Okay.
his team. So how's his team looking? He's got Herbert quarterback, nice. Kyron, we both like Kyron. Jones, Aaron Jones, I assume. So little hurt, but should be back. Puka slash Cup, that's a great combo to have there because when one goes, you start the other.
Hmm.
Jamar Chase is, the number 2 wide receiver. Ayuk, yep. Waller, unfortunately, I have him in a team. He's so disappointing, and it's just the Giants. The Giants are trash. I don't know. I'm debating like benching Waller this week. Then on the bench, you've got Ridley. On your bench is awesome. Zay Flowers, we were talking about, also great. Ford, I assume you use your nice sub while Jones was hurt. That's a great sub to have because he's been doing really, really well. You got Ayuk by trading Josh Reynolds. Man, who did you just completely rip off there?
I
Shoo.
I think
Steal.
I think your team's solid. I'm assuming this is a 10-team league. If this is a 12-team league, your team's really good. If it's a 10-team league, your team's still pretty good.
Yeah.
Um, but I would say you're loaded at receiver, dude.
Yeah.
You should trade Ridley or Flowers for a running back. I would
Plus.
trade what?
Yeah, plus. You could try to go for one of the top guys. I do like Ridley or Flowers and add like another piece to it
I would say like
to get.
Ridley or Flowers with Ford and get
Yeah.
like a top running back. That would be. I know you didn't ask for a suggestion; you just wanted us to
Yeah.
talk about your team. But I think now since you have Ayuk for Josh Reynolds, which is basically free, I would. I think you need to upgrade your running back or your tight end. So I would either go after like Hawkinson or Andrews at tight end, or I would go after like Kenneth Walker at running back, or let's see, maybe like Josh Jacobs, Travis Etienne. I would go for like one of the top 7 or 8 running backs and do Ridley and Flowers plus Ford. Thanks for the question, Gavin. Appreciate you stopping by. Please like, subscribe to the channel. We do this every week. Happy to have you.
Yeah. Maybe go after Pollard too. He's had a
Yeah,
couple. Yeah.
yeah,
He'll
I
bounce
like that.
back.
Nice little
Oh,
bio.
this one's tough, man. Cam, Javante or Miles Sanders rest of the year. I have them almost like right next to each other. Honestly, I have them as like pretty much equal. Um, phew.
I,
It's
I,
a pick 'em for me. I don't know.
man, this is tough.
I don't like Miles Sanders, but the Broncos are so bad.
I,
It's
I
hard to
think,
trust them.
I think Miles Sanders has a better floor, and I think Javante has the ability if he's kind of just say he's only like 80-85% healthy right now. I think
Yeah.
Javante has the higher ceiling. But I think Miles Sanders is a safer play. I know I didn't give you an answer, but that's what I got.
All right. I guess if I had to say, I would go Miles Sanders there just because of the safer play and the Broncos just being a dumpster fire. I would lean Miles Sanders. I think it's very, very close.
Okay. 12 team, half PPR. Lawrence, ETN, nice. Sanders, nice. Waddle, Cooper, Puka, nice. Kelsey, nice. I have Nico Collins, Gainwell, Tutu, and Johnston on my bench. What moves should I make?
Hmm.
So I
Um,
think I mean this is funny because like Waddle was hurt and oh that's Amari Cooper. I was thinking Cooper Cup. Okay. Now
yeah, no,
I
yeah.
need to reread this. Okay. Um
I mean, it's a pretty solid team, but it's
would
tough
you
to say like who he would.
hmm,
Johnson
would
on his
you
bench, I like because
I,
you can let him sit.
I think I would try to pair Tutu with Miles Sanders and get a better running back or pair Tutu with Amari Cooper and Nico Collins and get a better wide receiver. I mean, I would try to sell
Or
high on Tutu.
Nico.
Yeah.
Or Nico with either of those options, Sanders or Waddle, and try to upgrade for a top running back or top wideout to a team that needs like some
So
extra pieces.
here's what
Somebody
you
got
don't
hurt.
do. Here's what you don't do. You don't touch T Law. You don't touch ETN. You don't touch Kelsey,
Yeah.
and you don't. I wouldn't touch Waddle, but I would try to combine either Tutu or Nico Collins with either Sanders or Cooper and do like a trade up to a top piece.
Yeah. For
But I'm,
a better wideout or a better running back. I guess wideout range, we talked about a couple earlier, like maybe like a Devontae Smith, DK Metcalf. Um, you could try to go after. I mean, the rest of the top guys are gonna be really hard to get. CD Lamb, you mentioned, that's a good one right
Amon
now.
Ra, yeah.
Amon Ra's probably gonna be hard to get. He's just too good. Running
Yeah,
backs, I could probably go after Kyron Williams honestly with that trade and maybe get him. Somebody would think they're selling him high when we think he's gonna be good rest of the season.
hmm they obviously love him there.
Yeah,
So yeah, I don't know, man. I don't know that I'd be dying to make a move with this team because I think it's pretty well rounded and decent as it is. Prescott or Stroud? Stroud. I'm not playing Dak Prescott this week against the Patriots.
I've got Prescott higher.
Phew, against the Pats,
Yeah, he's
they
gonna have
haven't
to
given
throw.
up 250 passing yards yet.
Yeah, I don't know.
Well
It's
Stroud
not
has a
like
touch matchup too. It's against Pitt.
yeah Pittsburgh. Yeah,
Yeah, can I say neither? I mean, phew.
no, I get the
I'd
feeling. Like,
rather
I would.
you want to hear a hot take, or maybe it's not hot. I'd rather
Well,
start Russell Wilson over both of them.
I'd have him like close with Prescott. I think I'd still start. Well, he's going against Chicago, so yeah. I guess this week I would take Russell Wilson. Ugh, that's sad to say.
I'd play Russell
Between those
Wilson.
two,
Yeah.
you're going Stroud. I think I would go Prescott. Sorry, that's not helpful, man. We're each giving you a different answer.
Well, no, I didn't know who Stroud played. He plays Pitt.
Yeah.
Prescott has a start Prescott, but don't expect much. I don't. The Patriots defense has looked really, really good.
If Jordan Love's on waivers, pick him up and start him.
Yeah, or
That's
Geno
your
Smith
answer.
or Brock Purdy.
Yeah.
Should I drop Cole Kmet? Yes. I don't even care who you're picking up. Pick up
Yeah.
Musgrave. Yeah.
Musgrave. Yes, we both love
Yes.
Musgrave.
Yes.
Musgrave
Drop.
is a must pick up.
Yes.
Uh,
Cole Kmet. The Bears. You don't want anyone on the Bears except DJ
DJ
Moore, and you
Moore.
probably barely want DJ Moore.
Ugh,
Um,
I'm gonna try to
Justin
trade him away
Fields.
this week.
Justin Fields looks like he's playing drunk. Like I don't know what the hell is
I don't
going
know what's
on.
going on with that whole team. I just sent a trade to get rid of Justin Fields in Dynasty today. It's Fields and DJ Moore to get T Law in one QB. It's probably a horrible trade. I need somebody to win.
In a one QB league.
I know.
Wow.
I need to get rid of him.
That's
He's
some
probably gonna
desperate.
reject it. He's gonna reject
Yeah.
it too.
That's
Guaranteed.
that's desperate times right there.
I know.
But yeah, drop Cole Kmet. I think he's worthless. And Musgrave looks pretty sweet.
Yeah, grab Musgrave.
Which two should I start between Derrick Henry, Alvin Kamara, Zach Moss, Miles Sanders? Uh,
Oof.
Henry and Moss probably. Let me check.
Yeah, I would go Henry and Moss. Kamara's close in there. Miles Sanders. Miles Sanders is right there too. Man, you're definitely starting Derrick Henry, and the other three are like real close for me.
I'm gonna say Henry and Moss. I think Kamara's in last place for me on this one. I know you're a big Kamara guy,
Uh,
but
no, I
week
agree
one,
because it's first week back. They're going against Tampa
yeah,
Bay.
yeah,
I kind of agree there. Sanders gets Minnesota, which they've been letting up a lot of points. But yeah, I would go Moss and Henry here. I think it's really really close. It's a good problem to have. You've got a lot of good running backs on your team.
yeah. Yep, Henry and Moss, and if just not Kamara. That's my answer is not Kamara.
Next week, Kamara. That's the
Yeah.
answer.
All right. Thanks for the questions, guys. Really appreciate that. Yeah,
Yeah, we were
we
getting
do
to
this.
the Dolphins side of things.
Yeah.
Tua
Yep.
goes nuts for 300 yards, 4 touchdowns. They run the score up. We talked about A Chain setting records, going crazy, and Mostart. If you have either of them, you just have to start them every week now because that could happen. They could put up 40 or 50 points. You never know. And then Tyreek is gonna break record. He's gonna, but he said he was gonna catch 1,000 yards. They catch 2,000 yards. Like
Yeah,
he's on pace.
he might actually do it. So okay, Raheem Mostert's the RB1 so far in fantasy this year. Do you consider moving him if you can get a different like top tier running back that's proven? I mean, or do you just not mess with it? Like, I'll throw some names at you. If
Yeah.
someone offers you Kenneth Walker for Raheem Mostert, what do you do?
Scoop up my rankings real quick here. That's close. I think
I'm
I
just
still have Raheem Mostert over because I feel like Charbonnet eventually is gonna bust into Walker's like role a
okay.
little bit.
What if someone gives you Derrick Henry
I
for
don't know.
Raheem Mostert?
Yeah, I think you take Derrick Henry there. Yeah, for sure,
Uh,
Derrick Henry.
James Cook or Raheem Mostert?
Yeah, James Cook.
Okay, so I think what we're
I
getting
think
at
so.
here
Yeah,
is
and even Kenneth Walker. I'd be okay taking Kenneth Walker for him. Now I think about it, I'd be okay taking him.
so even though Mostert's RB1 on the year so far, if you can get another top 10 running back,
Yeah,
it's probably the safe play. Raheem Mostert's 31 years old and he has a injury history a mile long.
yeah,
So yes, it's been sweet, but we also know that A Chain's there, and Jeff Wilson's also on IR, probably coming off soon. So
yeah.
I really think as good as Mostert's been, I think it's a really nice sell high situation.
You could
I
go
don't,
after Kyron for him. You could probably definitely get Kyron for him.
yeah,
I
probably
think.
Kyron plus, yeah.
Yeah, that's a way to go.
Okay, we'll answer a few questions here. Should I keep
Yeah,
rolling with Waller or look elsewhere? So I think the
I have the
Giants look
same
like shit.
problem. I'm trying
The
to let me
Giants,
look up the team. I just picked up someone else for him because I think it's unfortunately not going to work out.
yeah.
Trying to remember who I grabbed.
So let's see what he's scored. So he's the tight end 8 on the year, but his scoring is 5, 10, and 3.5. That's terrible. I I don't know,
Yeah,
man.
pick up. I'm at the point where like I almost want to pick up Musgrave and start Musgrave over him. The Giants just are doing nothing. They're not using them anywhere near as much as we all thought they were going to.
If
I'm
you can
okay
trade
jumping ship on him.
if you can trade Waller and just something a little extra, like maybe the worst player on your team, and get either Evan Engram or Sam Laporta, I think that's the play. They
Oh yeah,
both
if you can get
are,
Sam Laporta, jump at that one.
yeah, they're both target hogs, Laporta and Engram.
Yeah,
So that's kind of I'm off Waller. I think he not as advertised. Ray, what's up, man? I think you've come to the channel before. Thanks for coming
yeah.
back. And ooh, let me see here.
TJ Hawk at tight end. The person's biggest weakness is running back. Other than Eckler, they just have Gibson Sanders. They're good at wide receiver, tight ends. They have. Oh, I'm a
And
little
tight end. They have
confused.
St. Brown, Waddle, Cooper, Dawson. Okay. What was the first part of the
Not sure
question?
what you're asking for. Do we
I think the
do we get
first part of your
split?
question didn't come through.
Yeah.
Let me see. Yeah, Ray, can you re-ask your question? Because I think the first chunk of it didn't come through, so we're not really sure what you're asking. We'll
Yeah.
start with another one. PPR redraft. Trade Garrett Wilson for Ramadre. He said he would do
Yes.
Wilson and Watson for Pickens and Ramadre, but kind of hesitant because of wide receiver depth. Wait a minute. Okay, so Wilson for Ramadre, and then you can
Yeah.
also give up Watson for Pickens. I mean, I would want to.
I
I'll
think
hear
both
your
those
take,
are
but
yes.
I think I want to give up Watson, who hasn't played yet, for Pickens, who's
Yeah.
played and looked
And
good.
doing well. Yeah.
So I
Yes to
think
both of those things.
yes to both. Trade Wilson and Watson for Pickens and
Yeah.
Ramadre. Yes.
Yeah. I love Garrett Wilson, but he's in a horrible situation, and we don't know. Like he's not. He's kind of not startable. As your wide, I guess as wide receiver 3, he's startable.
Yeah,
It's sad.
he's probably a back end
Yeah.
wide receiver
And I
too.
love that you're buying low on Ramondre right now. He had a bad game. People are worried that like Zeke is going to cut into his. No, Zeke is not a thing. Ramondre is going to come back super strong. Jump on this trade before Ramondre like starts to go off the next couple weeks.
People forget how good Ramadre Stevenson was last year. He was like the
Yeah.
RB6 last year. He's
Yeah.
unreal. When it gets, I
Yeah.
mean, he's a huge running back. When it gets
Yeah.
starts to get cold and nasty in Pittsburgh, in New England, he's gonna freaking eat.
Yeah.
I
Dude,
love
Blurpy, I'm gonna
Ramadre.
try that same trade, man. I got Wilson in a league. I'm gonna see if I can send him for Ramondre because that's a great trade.
Yeah, I have Diggs and Debo as my yeah. I mean, that's great. Diggs and
Yeah, those
Debo are
guys are
great.
awesome.
And so
Yeah,
you'll have Diggs, Debo, and Pickens. What's not to
yeah,
love about that? I mean, you have three
three
receivers that
great
are
starters. Yeah,
all playing well this year and have good pedigree. I'm all about that.
yeah.
Cool. Yeah. So
We
where
could
were
run through
we?
some waiver wire.
Yeah, just wrapping up. We'll wrap up Dolphins real quick. A Chain and Mostert combined, yeah, for the most points ever by a running back tandem.
Yeah,
8 touchdowns between them. I don't think Devon A
stupid.
Chain. It's pretty
It's
much
just
his
stupid.
his debut, right? I mean, he
Yeah,
played in a prior week, but didn't really see the field much. It's safe to say that this is going to be his best game ever by a wide margin. So, but I do think he's a must start. I mean, and that wasn't a Raheem Mostert pun. I think he's a must. Yeah, he's
yeah.
a must
Most
start,
most start. Yeah,
especially this week against the Bills. Going to be a really fun game to watch.
yeah,
But yeah, if A Chain's on your waiver wire, I'd say you spend all of your money on him, especially if it's a PPR league. Agreed.
yeah, yeah. For sure. Spend it all. If you
So
didn't spend it
I'm
all on
gonna
Kyron,
try
like
to
you
do
said last week,
Wilson for Mondre straight up first. I don't know, man. I think I would
I'm
go
okay
after.
with that. If you like Christian Watson, I'm okay with it. Watson is like a big play guy. He has the ability to just blow up, and Jordan Love's looking good. I'm okay with doing that.
That's fair. That's fair.
Rest of
If
the
you
season, I can see Christian Watson being a better player than George Pickens. There's a easy
I
path
agree
to
with
it.
that. But if the guy says
Yeah,
no, I want to do the Watson and Pickens swap, I would do that too.
yeah, I agree. And yeah, it's hard to
Watson's gonna
start
play tomorrow
Watson.
too.
Yeah, it's hard to start Watson
Yeah,
because we don't know how much he's gonna
not.
play and stuff. But
I'm never playing someone their first game back from a hamstring. Just rule of thumb.
unless it's Jamar Chase or Justin Jefferson, one of the top guys,
Yeah,
then I'm
right.
starting him. But no,
Cool.
I like Watson. I think he'll bounce back and be a top guy.
Cool. So yeah, thank you guys for hanging out. We're gonna run through our waiver wire pickups, um, and we'll probably wrap it up here in about 5-10 minutes. So if you're out there watching and you have any more questions, we can answer them before we turn off for the night. But we'll answer this
Here's
question
the
from
first
Ray.
part. Yeah.
Yeah.
I'll read it. Who on my team do you think I can get Waddle for? This person I'm trading only has Gibson and Sanders as their running backs. They also have Eckler, but the other two aren't much. They have solid tight end and wide receivers. So who can you get Waddle for? So you're trying to get Waddle from this person, it seems like? Yeah, they have St. Brown, Waddle, Cooper, Dotson, Howard. Okay. So you're trying to get Waddle. And then there's his team.
Oh, here's his team. Okay. Okay.
I
So
mean,
who would we pick from your team to get Jalen Waddle? Okay.
because
I'm.
you're buying, you're kind of buying low on Waddle right now with the injury, him not playing and stuff. So I like that. Um,
I mean, I think I know what one of the pieces I want to be is. Zach Moss.
to get Waddle, yeah,
Because I mean Zach Moss could be in nothing. It's starting week 5.
I don't know.
So
Yeah, that's true. Moss and Montgomery, because he's
well he
got.
doesn't he only
Oh, he
has
doesn't have
Barkley.
anybody.
No, he
Never
has
mind.
his
I
running
just
backs are not
realized. Yeah.
strong. So
Yeah, it's
I
tough to trade
think
away running backs.
it's tough. Yeah.
Moss and
Um,
Myers, and see if they would do that for you. I feel like
it's
that's not
probably
quite
going to have to
enough.
be Moss and Kirk.
Ugh, that's rough.
I don't think you can give up a running back because your running backs are not great.
I mean, he's got
Um,
Olave, Metcalf, and
yeah,
Watson.
but you're
I
not.
was go
But so
Moss and Watson for Waddle.
I would try Moss and Kirk first.
Yeah,
So I would say try Moss and Kirk for Waddle. See if that happens, and then you have to decide if you want to do Moss and Watson for Waddle. I mean,
yeah. I would do Moss and Watson for Waddle. 'Cause we both know like Zach Moss is probably not going to be sticking around.
I mean, I kind of like your team as is. I don't know that you really have to do much. I don't know who Jake Moody is though. Is he a kicker?
Must be kicker. Must be
Yeah,
kicker.
yeah. Your RB2 could be your weak spot if you trade Moss. Now I would do Moss and Kirk for Waddle, and if that's declined, Moss and Watson for Waddle. We'll go with that.
Yeah, agreed. Noah Bonecutter's got one for us. Worth keeping London on your bench. Unfortunately, I think you have to. He's wide receiver 1 still, and you're just gonna hope that the Atlanta decides to change their offense in the next 5 to 6 weeks, right?
Yeah,
You can't drop him.
you can't cut Drake London. I mean, you never know. It's like they could eventually turn to Taylor Heineke at QB, and maybe that's a spark or something.
Yeah,
Heineke's hasn't been terrible when he's played in the past. Drake London's way too talented to hit a waiver wire, in my opinion.
yeah.
Let me see. He says he also has Romeo Dobbs, and they are
And
a
they're a
Packers
Packers
fan.
fan. So put together
Well,
like a Dobbs, Moss, Jacoby Myers thing for Waddle and see if they pull the trigger. You never know. You never know. If you want to try cheap first.
yeah, or you could do if they're a Packers fan, then they also like Christian Watson, right? So Christian Watson and David Montgomery. Yeah. Anyway,
Yeah.
I think you have plenty of ammunition there to go get him, and I think it's a good move to buy low on Waddle.
Yeah.
So,
Because then you're
um,
crazy stacked at wideout.
right. Okay. Well, let's jump into waivers here. Just let us know if you have any questions before we sign off for the night. Thank you guys for hanging out. So, waivers, QB, who you got?
Yeah, I've got two. I've got Jordan Love and CJ Stroud. We talked about both already. Just Jordan Love, I expected to have a bad game this week, and he didn't. He went off, and I know a lot of it was coming back and stuff, but that's fine. He came back and they won. All good stuff. And then CJ Stroud again. No one expects him to be this good out the bat, and he is. He's worth having on your roster. Whether like for me, I picked up Jordan Love because I have Justin Fields, and I think Justin Fields is unfortunately not going to be the Justin Fields we thought he was. And Jordan Love was sitting there on the waiver wire to pick up. I'll probably play them based on matches, like who's good or who's not. So if you went like late round QB and Stroud or Love is available, I think they're worth picking up.
For sure. Yeah, Love is my, slam dunk number one pickup. I think he's very playable this week against Detroit. That
Yep.
could be a high scoring game, and rest of season. Just one more I'll throw in there. If you're kind of just looking for a 1 week fill in, for some reason, I really like Russell Wilson this week. As bad as Denver's been, man, Chicago's been worse.
It's really
And
Chicago's really bad.
is
Yeah.
there like an off chances just one of those like really super ugly like 35 to 32 games where neither team plays good, but they just score like busted play touchdowns the whole game?
Could definitely happen. They both don't seem to have
Cool.
much
Yeah,
defense.
so that means
Yeah.
it's going to be 12-9. Sorry,
Yeah.
guys.
Oh yeah. Right now that we said that. Yeah. 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 No, and Jordan Love, I started him over Burrow last week, and because Burrow was like, who knew? We didn't know if he's going to play or not, and I was very pleasantly surprised with that outcome. So,
That worked out for
yeah.
sure.
And then running backs, we talked about the big one, Devon A. Chain. Spend all your money if he's somehow still sitting on your waiver wire. I also said earlier, Tajay Spears. He's just been getting a lot of work, as much as Derrick Henry. So he's worth. You can start him in your flex every week. I feel like at this point. And then my other one was Melvin Gordon. I know he's not a good pick, but if you're desperate, they need someone to run the ball in Baltimore.
Yeah. I like all three of those. Another one I like is if he's not owned is Kendre Miller on New Orleans. He saw his first NFL career action this week. Looked pretty good, I think. So I know Kamara's coming back, but I think Kendre Miller is the a pretty strong handcuff to have, and we love those handcuff running backs, especially when they're young, talented handcuff running backs. So I think Kendre Miller is a cheap end of the bench addition to add there if he's available.
Yeah, Ray's telling us a little bit more about his team. Yeah, Ray, we like your team, man. We think it's great. I think you already have three daily wide receivers with Christian Kirk. He seems legit after the last couple games. But adding Waddle would be three legendary wide receivers there. And yeah, RB is a little bit of a weak spot, but you can, filter in the RB2 based on matchups and stuff between the guys. So we think you've got a good spot, and going for Waddle. Good luck. You got it, man. Have a good night.
Yeah, appreciate the questions. Thank you. Okay, let me see.
Wide
I,
receivers.
yeah, I guess Jerome Ford can't be a pickup because he's probably
Nah,
pretty
he's got to
widely
be
owned.
everywhere.
But
Yeah.
yeah, he had a nice game this week, and he was the starter over Kareem Hunt. So
Yep.
if Jerome Ford happens to be out there, he's a nice ad. I think he's gonna be their guy moving forward. Okay, wide receivers, who you got?
So I got Tank Dell as the top ad
Yeah,
this week
me
for
too.
like actually available guys, and then we talked about Quentin Johnston and Josh Palmer. Those guys right there, based on if you need win now mode, Josh Palmer. If you're looking for some guy that will be good in a few weeks potentially, Quentin Johnston. We talked about Josh Downs for Indy. He kind of had a coming out game for him. I think I said in the show a couple weeks ago, I love jumping on rookies that just like blow up like that, and he's a rookie that just blew up. So he's a great guy to kind of snag, and you're not going to start him right away, but he could potentially be right up there with Pittman, getting a bunch of throws because Indy's down a lot. And the only one I had was, I know we talked about how horrible the Giants are, but Wan'Dale Robinson's coming back from injury, and they don't have anyone who's good, and maybe he's good.
Hmm. Yeah, he had a couple of decent games last year. Yeah, I kind of like that if you're in a deeper league or you have a empty bench spot. Some other names I'll add. Rasheed Rice. I think Kansas City is like the biggest mess of a good team I think I've ever
Yeah.
seen. I mean, besides Kelsey and Taylor Swift, I don't really know who produces for that team. Um, but
Uh,
they're like they score over 30 points every game, but no
yeah.
one produces in fantasy. It's like the most frustrating thing ever.
Yeah.
But anyway, yeah, I'll see Rasheed Rice. I think he's trending to be the number one guy there.
I
I
guess.
I don't know.
Yeah.
It's
Who
not
knows?
Kadarius Toney. He played like 2 snaps this week. So yeah. And then where was my? I had one more. Oh,
We got a quick
DJ.
question here too. We can take
Yeah,
a
DJ
quick
Chark.
pause. Oh, DJ Chark. Yeah, really?
Yeah.
I don't know.
So
Okay.
DJ Chark, he came back from injury and he put up like I don't know 4 or 5 catches for 85 or 90 yards and a touchdown.
No.
I just always liked him. I feel like he doesn't stay healthy very often, but when he plays, he's really solid. So,
Okay.
yeah, I dig me some DJ Chark.
So,
Let me see.
question here from Connor Farley. Got offered Ramondre and Elijah Moore for Damian Pierce and Addison, full PPR. I love Jordan Addison. That's a close one. I think because Ramondre is the best piece in the deal, I'm going to lean that side and say you should take that deal, man. I
I
don't
will
like Damian Pierce
say
at all.
so. I'm a Damian Pierce guy, and me and Jeremy are both Addison guys.
Yes.
But I would still take the Ramadre side.
Yeah.
So I
I
think
just
that's
think
a
you're getting like a top 12 running back, uh, hopefully the
eventually.
rest of the way. Yeah.
Hmm.
The rest of the way. And Elijah Moore, you never know. We've seen his catches kind of uptick a little each week.
Yeah, I think I like the we both like the Ramadre side. I mean, he's far and away the best player here. I mean, Addison, nice upside, but
Yeah.
Ramadre could be a league winner.
Yeah, I
Really
think you're
good.
selling high on Addison and selling like at price for Damian Pierce, which is great because I don't think Damian Pierce is going to get any better. So I know
Cool.
you do,
Yeah,
but I don't.
go get Ramadre. We had so many Ramadre questions today.
Yeah, people are smart going after Ramondre. I like it. Tight
So
end, I
so
only have Luke Musgrave.
so real quick on wide receiver. So you mentioned Tank Dell, you mentioned Josh Palmer, you mentioned Quentin Johnston, you mentioned Josh Downs. Say, so I think it's really important to talk about, you're going to add those guys, but it's important to pay attention to who you're dropping too.
Yeah,
Would you add all of those people and drop Jackson Smith and Jigba?
no, I'd rather have. Well, Tank Dell would be close. I think I'd still rather have Jackson Smith than Jigba over Tank Dell. Yeah,
This morning, I added Tank Dell and dropped JSN in a redraft league.
it's close. I think it's
Yeah.
close. I mean, Tank Dell's a number two, Jason's a number three, so
So if
you're
you're
okay.
if you're 0 and 3 right now, if you're 0 and
Yeah,
3
yeah,
and
drop
Josh
Jason.
Palmer is available, would you pick up Josh Palmer for Jackson Smith and Jigba?
Yeah, I think
We
you
don't have
have
we don't have
to.
time to wait around,
I would
man. We
try
got
to trade him
yeah.
first. I would try to trade him to a 3-0 team for somebody they're not starting.
Yeah.
Uh, Try to put something together. But
It's
yeah,
funny how the world
I'm okay
turns.
with
It's
it.
like we're dropping JSN for Josh Palmer
Yeah,
in week 4, right?
yeah.
So yeah, it's funny how quickly things change, right? Okay, so tight end, you said your ad of the week was Musgrave. I dig that
He's
a
still out
lot.
there. He's still sitting on waivers. I think you can, if he's available, grab him. Like I
Yep.
said, I think I might take him over Darren Waller and either bench Waller or try to trade him for somebody crappy. I don't know. He's not worth anything.
Yeah, I think I'm with you there. I think we're both all in Luke Musgrave. He's been looking great. Um, yeah, I mean that's my only real ad of the week. I mean everyone else stinks, man. Tight end is so bad.
Yeah. Hunter Henry, if
Um,
he's still there, I just feel like people scooped him up after last week, and
yeah,
he did not
he's
great this
probably
week.
not available. I mean,
Yeah.
Juwan Johnson's been bad. Chig's been bad. Um, Dawson Knox has been bad. Gerald Everett's been bad. Phew, I don't
Yeah.
know, man.
Yeah.
Okay,
Anybody
yeah, so
else?
we'll stick with Luke Musgrave. I still
Yeah.
believe in Jake Ferguson, so if you really need someone,
Yeah. I'm starting him in a league. He's
yeah.
my only tight end. And
So,
then I've got a few quick defenses to throw out. Tampa Bay defense. They get New Orleans. We don't know if Winston's starting or not,
mhm.
or if what's his name will be healthy again, Garoppolo. And then Cincinnati defense, and really, it like pains me to say it, but like Chicago looks so bad. I think Denver
Denver.
defense might be a good start. Like, if you're desperate for a defense, Denver defense could. I mean, we're just talking about fantasy points. We're not talking about real life here. Denver defense could get some sacks and some picks,
You're
and
currently touting the defense that gave up 70
yeah,
points last week. That's how
yeah.
bad Justin Fields
That's
is.
how bad Chicago is. Yeah,
Yes.
it's bad, man.
Wow. I
Oh,
think I actually have waiver claims in for Denver in a couple leagues, but I didn't realize they gave up 70 points last week. But I don't think it matters because they're going to have a field day with Justin Fields because
yeah.
he sucks. Anyway,
Yes.
yeah, thank you all for watching. It was a good time. Hope we helped you out a little bit. Please like, subscribe to the channel, and hope to see you back next week. Good luck this week.
Yeah.
Later.
See you.